Right, evening guys. So I did a post earlier on YouTube. Last night I decided that I'm going to solely focus on fishing Rother Valley. That's not to say I'm not going to do treating, because I will. So if you see me on there, don't be thinking, I said you ain't going to come back on it. Because I am going to still do odd day on this, definitely. So, but most of my angling is going to be done on Rother Valley this year. Right, so what we want now is we want beautiful little dumbbells like that, and they're what we're wanting for mozzie. Now they will trim down lovely if need be. Get rid of the endings again, like we always. The end ones never ever seem to come out like you want them to, but they'll do. Ultra buoyant, they're going nowhere. It's they're going nowhere, these. We got away with a few more on that one, guys. So these are 14mm Banoffee barrels. If we put one back, end ones get rid of. Keep on that one. We only want the very best for a Rother Valley fish. Rid of M1s on that one. Not quite right. Got 2 more sausages to roll. And then we'll go over to 16mm rounds. Get rid of them too. Yep, that one's alright. That one worked though. Just that one back in box. Right, and the reason for Banoffee is I've always done really well on Banoffee on mozzie. I always have, and I always will do, I should think. But I have also got a good quality fish meal that we'll be using this year on there, so. Right then, so we'll just give them a quick turn around in the pop-up mix, and then we'll redust. Like I've said before, if you don't do that, you're going to have serious trouble with mix. So now we go over to the $16mm, which is that one. So now we go over to the 16mm one. So it's the gum end back off again. Click it off, press that back into there, 16 goes in, and then it's back on with that. So then we've got a mix of barrels, and also now we've got the 16s as well, so, and I do like that, I do like their round pop-ups. It's, I don't know, especially with chod fishing, I really do like them. So. A lot of cold dust in this pop-up mix, but I don't mean that's the full mix done. So with a 16mm sausage, we stretch it out a little bit, and then just gently back and forth. Perfect base every time, every single time. Beautiful smell. It's funny how certain smells remind me of certain venues, but Rother Valley will always, Banoffee always reminds me of Rother Valley. I think it always will, to be honest with you. It's a funny one, but it just reminds me of it. And it's because it's always really used on there, you know. At one point, it's always really used on there with Banoffee, so. And it's all I will continue to use on there, to be honest. know there's a lot of krill going in there at the minute, but I've got a really nice krill bait that I can put at least one rod on krill on the whale's breath and see how we go on with that. Hopefully it'll do alright. I've got a funny feeling it will, so just get that done. Rolling beautiful. Perfect pop-ups. White, I love white. Especially on mozzie. I think they can go against you sometimes, and you can start having too many tufties and then if I do start having tufties, then I'll sometimes go over to a different colour, but it's not very often. It's normally I can deal with tufted ducks, not that big a problem. It's the sun put off where high amounts of chili. High amounts of chili in your bait, they don't like that. Some they're not used to, and it puts them off. And that's pretty much guaranteed as well. They're beautiful. Really nice. Now, since I've mentioned I'm going to have a valley today, everything has just seems to have gone according to plan. So, I don't know if that's a sign. Superstitious. So, we'll see. Beautiful baits. Right, and so what we're doing now is dust them off, and then that gives us them, which is about a season's worth of tilty, right? So now then we've got, just get a couple more seconds, and then we're boiling for 2 minutes. Bear with me, guys. Right, go. We bang them in. Keep an eye on them at all times. Get that tray ready. Put a piece of the kitchen paper on it. 2 minutes. And while we're doing that, the rest of the mix from the sausage have gone. We can also be using that as well, which I will be doing in a minute. Now after they've been in a couple of seconds, I like to just keep moving them around. Some people don't like to do it, but once they've been in for about 30 seconds, you can start moving them around a bit. Now they've come out absolutely perfect. Just turn that heat up a little bit, going up to a minute. These do well no matter where you fish. These baits do well. They do well on tree, and no matter where you fish, they do well. Don't always have. Now I'm going to do a couple of 12s as well with that little bit that's left. I'm going to do a few 12 millis. Just see how we go on. Right. So we're coming to a minute and a half. Looking great as well. Really, really nice baits. All perfectly round, perfect barrels, dumbbells should I say, or barrels, whatever you want to call them. We're coming up now, that's a minute and a half, so now, just let them sit now just for a minute. 15 seconds, and then move them around for the last 15 seconds, just give them a quick dunk, move around and leave them now, and for the last few minutes. Last second or so. I'm going to give them a little bit extra as well this batch. Not much, just a few seconds extra, because there is quite a few in here. But it's this one from it took me about 3 or 4 minutes to, not even that, a couple of minutes to knock a 1 egg mix up right then. So I'm just going to give a couple more seconds, because there's a fair few in here. I'm going to give them a little bit longer. Now I'm going to give them 2.5 minutes. Right then. A little bit longer than 2.5 minutes actually. I want it cooked all the way through. I don't want to paste it in the middle. The pop-ups, I want them to be rock hard when they dry. I want them to go rock hard, no paste in the middle of them. Right then, so now I'm coming up to, right, they've been in here 3 minutes. So what we do now is we get rid of that pop-up mix we coated them in. We want that off them. Beautiful bits. Single scale's going to end up with one of them in bottom lip. Right, so we get rid of that last bit off. Beautiful, they're perfectly mixed coke in there. So it's evenly spread throughout, which I had cooked an egg. Some might not, but I do personally. I think it's the best way to do them. So what we've got there now is we've got perfect 16mm round bits, and we've also got some 14mm barrels. Now that's exactly what I wanted. But what I'm going to do is, like I just said, I'm going to do some 12mm with the paste that's left. For the simple reason of, I do like them little 12mm because they sit nicely. Now that's beautiful bits, all perfectly round. Every single one of them perfectly round. Coke perfectly distributed throughout them. The barrels perfect. Lovely. They'll definitely do well, I can tell you that now before I even use them. They're definitely. Right then, so we flipped them on now. Now the thing is they're supposed to be doing water meadow as well with Baz. Which I'm hoping on definitely doing it, to be perfectly honest, but everything seems to win against us at the minute. So we're going to have to see how we go on with that. So what we do now is we knock the paste out of the old tops, the 12mm and the 14mm and the other 12mm and the 16. We knock the paste out of them, and then we clear the gun. That pop-up paste. And once that's cleared, we just mix that. Now, there ain't gonna be many of these, but it's worth doing them. So what we want next here now is, I think that may be it, to be honest with you, is it? Yep, that's the one we want. So that says 12. So we stick the 12 in, and then we bang that last little bit of paste in. Probably only going to end up with about 10 bits, 10, 15 bits. I'm about to get a few more actually, but not many more. So we get that air out of the gun. Last bit off his hands. And then insert that back into the gun. Back out. 2 seconds, guys. We want this back on boil. But a slow boil now because it's got pop-up mix in it. So, and then we just lift them off and just put them on the side. They'll be fine. Right then, so we give that a quick wipe down with towel so it's dry. And we put just a little sprinkling of pop-up mix on it just for them last few. And then just squeeze them out onto the sides, which are lovely little bits. These, I love them. I'll get a few more in before, guys. Back. Right then, so we take that last little bit of paste out, bang that in, and then we go with 12s. So it's the case now, just straightforward and then bike. Perfect barrels. I do love 12mm baits, they're really nice. And then we go back. God, they smell amazing. I can't but resist them, eh? Look at that. Now I've got a few more than I actually thought here, so what I'm going to have to do is a bit more pop-up mix. I've had a few said to me as well, is there anything else you could use instead of pop-up mix on this tray? Now I'm sure there is, but for the bit you use it, I'm telling you now, if you want your baits to come out perfect every time, you have got to use that pop-up mix on there. Now you could probably get away with maize flour, but I wouldn't advise it, not at all. Straightforward bite. Right, still end up with a couple that aren't quite perfect. Now that last little bit there, I won't rerun that bit. I may do it by hand, but it's only a really bit what's left. We've been through gun, we've got all the stuff out of it, so. Bike, not really happy with that one, not really happy with that one. But them I'm happy with, so they go straight on. Now we've ended up with a few actually. So it's just a case now of back forward. And we've got one out of that. Right then, so now just a case of the last bit. We clean gun. By that, we pull that out. Inside there's always some. So you're only gonna end up with that in sync if not. So pull it out. That's out. And then you've got your 12mm here, which I said it on an earlier post. You will find something in your house like this spoon that fits down it perfect, but it's little things like that that make it a lot faster. You're doing stuff a lot faster. So we've ended up with that much out of that last bit. Now it's a shame to waste that, so we always use it. Hang on, we've got that as well, what I forgot about. Now be careful with that bit around there, because sometimes if you've done another bait beforehand and it's red or something like that, the baits can have slight coloration to them or slight muck in them, but it's not a big issue with amount what I stiff on myself, so I'm not that bothered, you know what I mean. So we roll that out. I'm going to roll it out by hand. So if you haven't got a table, you just go for roughly a sausage that looks roughly around about 12mm, which I would say that is. Now chop it in half. I don't like doing them too long, it may be a little bit bigger than that. That's perfect. So we bang that on, and then it's just a case of straightforward bike. Lovely barrels. They're about 14s though then, but I'm not that bothered about that. Maybe a bit bigger actually, 16s. At 14, sorry. So we'll bang them on, and that's the only bit now what we've got. What we're not going to use. Maybe a little tiny bit more, but not much. Ideal, perfect. Every one of them's come out perfect, so that's good news. So we bang them on there, and then all we do then is one more time in flour, and then we turn the heat up so we get a boil, which we've got. Wait for clog to get so it's easier for me to watch without me having, if you know what I mean. It's easier for me to keep my eye out on the time, but without actually having to watch the clock. So we're coming up to 12 here with seconds. So indigo. Right then, 2 minutes for these ones. There's less in there. The more you put in, the more you're going to have to boil time for. You're going to have to boil them for longer. So now we change the tissue again, because this first lot's soaked all that moisture up. So we get rid of that now, and it's wet through this. Try and have a gap between them all as well. They'll dry a lot faster. See, soaks all that up, but we'll save that bit in this bowl just to dampen the next lot off. Right, look, now we get that froth. So we come up to the 2 minute mark, near enough. at not a minute, that minute. And then there should be enough. There should be enough now here to last me a full season. On Valley, whichever it's given me perfect 16s, perfect 14s, and then 12s as well. So we're coming up to, are they 12s these? Yep, some of them are 12s and some of them are about probably 16mm barrels, but I'm quite happy about that. So we're coming up to 2 minutes, we're nearly there. Not far off now, 5 seconds. There we go. Perfect. So now we just knock that pop-up mix off. We'd lugged them in and put them in this one first because we don't want to be wasting kitchen towel for no reason. All we want is that first bit just to suck moisture off it. And obviously I roll a lot of bits, so I'd be using a lot of it if he was all the time. Now that's the only waste we've got. I could roll one out of that, I just can't be bothered, so it's in bed with it. Take the cooker off. Quick rinse at hands, get all that crap off my hands before I start tidying up. Smells beautiful. Smells of Rother Valley. Smells of Rother Valley. So we give them a quick toss on there, and then we empty that onto there. And jobs are good. So we've got a mix of baits on there now. They're the 14s I've just rolled. 16s I've just rolled as well, so that's 16mm barrels. Now these ones will be about £36 a tub in a few weeks' time. And I guarantee that. So what we've ended up with now is, I'll just give you a final look before I